I'm going to introduce Bridget Gibbons, who's already been noted, who is the Director of Economic Development for Westchester County.
Thank you. Morning, everybody. It's my pleasure to be here. When I took this position about 15 months ago, one of the first people I met with was Michael. And his passion and enthusiasm, and subsequently I met Joanne, and their combined vision for what life sciences and biotech could be in Westchester County just blew my mind. And it was so compelling that I spoke to the county executive and I said, we have to get aligned behind this vision and really enable it. And that's kind of my role, is to really, as a working at, supporting these really important initiatives that come from the private sector, and the county can really be a force to enable. So we subsequent to kind of meeting with the Westchester Biotech Project, we established a Westchester County Biotech Task Force. So then that consists of a lot of folks from your initiative and other people in the county that are in the biotech space. And the goal really is to build that biotech blueprint, so we can have a plan to build a biotech life sciences cluster in Westchester County. So, and recently, you probably all heard that the county executive signed a lease to develop the North 60 $1.2 billion biotech center in Valhalla. So we are now kind of working in parallel with that development initiative to really come up with this blueprint, so that when the time is right, we have all the information we need. So the focus of that task force and its blueprint is really broad. So it includes things like what Kevin discussed, and education and workforce development and real estate. We're looking at what's needed in a lab, and what are the costs and what's the best practice. And we're also looking at things such as financing, so incentives from the state. And an example is we had a meeting with Megan Taylor last week to discuss with her, part of the situation is that states like Connecticut are offering, biotech and life sciences companies pots of money. So come to Connecticut, we'll give you $10 million. And we don't have a comparable program in New York State. So we met with Megan Taylor and we said, what can you do? How can the state enable us to attract these businesses to come to New York State? And the funding model that currently exists with Empire State Development may not be the right model for this sector. The current model really requires a big upfront investment from the company and then a small reimbursement. And that works in many cases across the state, but maybe not in this sector. So as a task force, we're going to roll up our sleeves and look at this and say, is there a better model for this sector? Is there data we can bring to bear that really demonstrates that we need to change the model that's coming from the state? So we have a lot of work to do in that area. And it's just an example of the kind of concrete things that the task force is working on in order to enable this blueprint. Another initiative that's near and dear to my heart is the Incubator Project. So many of you in the room are on both task force. You're on my biotech. Deb Novick is one, and Joanne, you're also, Michael, and others in the room. Westchester Community College has been actively involved in both initiative. So the county is rolling out a series of business incubators. We're launching it tomorrow. The name of the incubator is Element 46. 46 because we are 45 municipalities in Westchester County, and the county government is the 46th entity, and Element 46 is Palladium, which is a catalyst. So we thought it was a good name for the incubator program. We're going to have 10 to 15 startups, and we're going to seat them in existing co-working spaces across the county. And the benefits to being in the incubator are you get free workspace, you get 2 or 3 mentors assigned to each startup. We're going to provide you with access to a curated list of pro bono professional service providers, so IP lawyers and other folks in that space. And we're also going to provide training, so programming. So if the startup needs help with a business plan, or if they need help with a budget, or they need to help learning how to pitch to investors, we're going to provide that training all in the incubator space. So it's going to be a 4-month pilot, and applications are available starting tomorrow through the end of April. So April 26th is the application deadline. So if you know any startups, we're going to do a big marketing campaign to try and draw startups up from the city and Brooklyn and elsewhere to come and reside in our space. I think, the real goal, the overall objective is to give, create an entrepreneurial ecosystem in Westchester County, really create a buzz so that people think, hey, maybe I could go to the city, but maybe I'd rather build my business here in Westchester. So economic development goal there. So we've got a lot of interesting projects that we're working on. I thank you all who volunteer and help me on those task forces and other ways. There's a lot of work to be done, and I'm very optimistic. I think through all of your help and really participation, we are positioning Westchester really strongly in both the biotech and the startup, but also in general for really a bright future and really strong economic growth. So thank you very much.
It's nice to have someone in that role that I'm calling an audible. You're gonna go second. But it's great to have somebody with so much vision and energy, and it's really nice when people encourage us. We need that, so thank you. And I think this Element 46 is going to be really a great program. I'm going to call Marc Wilenzick up. So I intentionally. This is a confusing section on the agenda because there's a little bit of a surprise, and I didn't want to know the people. I didn't want the people mentioned to know what it is. So.
All right. Well, before we even get to that, I just want to say that to Bridget and County Executive Latimer, in a time when the political climate is more intent on putting up barriers and obstacles, I'm not saying walls, but putting these things up, Bridget and George have done an amazing job at trying to do just the opposite by breaking down the barriers and finding solutions that work for everyone, and I want to credit them for that. There was a slide up earlier that listed all of our partners and companies that have supported us. But there are a few individuals who have actually gone above and beyond what we could have ever asked or expected their support and contributions to be. And one of those is Marc Wilenzick. So before I hand the mic over to Marc, I just want to say that Marc has been so influential in bringing people to the table from outside Westchester, from inside Westchester, people who have taken on leadership roles in all that we're doing. And without his contributions and support and cocktail party skills that he's hosted in the past, a lot of this would not have happened. So I am honored to present Marc with our very first Founders Award in honor and recognition of all of your contribution and support of the Westchester Biotech Project. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Michael and Joanne, and I'm very pleased to accept the award. I want to thank the Academy. So I'm glad that I'm getting this award so that I don't actually have to provide remarks about the development program for Westchester because we have these excellent speakers. And I was a little worried. I was stressing out as to how I'm going to say anything worth listening to about that. But I will say that I'm an FDA regulatory lawyer, and I've been practicing in the New York City, greater New York City area for 20 years. And there is so much talent in Westchester County and the greater New York City area that we have that ingredient. And so all these catalyst programs to actually build the infrastructure is such a no-brainer next step, both to create jobs for people, which is like so important, but also to come up with cures and treatments, which is as important. And I think we're in a position that very few geographic areas are. New York City has the highest concentration of medical research in the world. I worked with a informatics company that was eventually sold to IMS Health that mapped clinical trials globally by zip code and city and therapeutic area. And if you looked at the greater New York City area, there was nothing in comparison on the clinical research side. globally. And so we have the medical expertise, we have scientific expertise, we have folks that commute to New York City and they live in Westchester. I personally moved from a spectacular job, I thought, in downtown Manhattan with a vaccine research organization for a few reasons, but the primary reason is to have a 12-minute commute, and because I live in Westchester, and my wife's a physician, and she said, "What? Start a practice somewhere else? I'd have to start at the bottom, and you can go, but I'm not going to go anywhere because I'm happy with the practice I have." So there's hundreds and thousands probably of folks that really have a life in Westchester, have kids in high school like I do, and whether they commute to Princeton or New York City, New Jersey, or elsewhere, and some of them are Stanford or already working in the industry we have in Westchester. But I think that the trajectory is there, and I think it's going to be a great success. So thank you.
So people kept saying, "What am I supposed to do?" Don't worry about it. Okay. Carla, Dr. Romney, has been instrumental to many of our programs, along with Amy Allen. She's been co-chairing the Roundtable for Educators and Employers and really has helped shepherd the certificate program that you heard about. And so we would like to give you a Founders Award.
Oh my goodness.
Because you mean the world to us.
Thank you. Oh my goodness. That's quite a surprise. Oh my goodness. So can I copy Marc saying, well, I don't need to say anything? Thank you for the great award. No. It really is an honor and a pleasure to be here today and to really see this whole effort come to fruition after 22 months we've been doing this. It's hard to believe. We met on that fateful day, and I said to Joanne at that very first meeting, I said, it's great to build the industry components, but industry will not thrive unless there's a pipeline of talent that can support the growth of that industry. And my lifelong interest has been in building the partnerships, the collaborations, and the talent, personally and professionally, to succeed in the biomedical sciences. When I met Joanne the first time, and some of you've heard this story, I said, I honestly am a poster child for you. I grew up not 5 minutes from here. I stepped foot on this campus for the very first time a year ago when we had our first event here, however. And while I was born in the Bronx and grew up in Westchester, I realized very quickly that there was no professional academic pathway for me here, and that there was no employment pathway for me. I wanted to pursue biomedical engineering and the biomedical sciences. As a child growing up, that's what I did. I did research in hospitals, I was one of those fortunate kids that had the ability to do that in high school. And I left Westchester. The day that I graduated from high school, I went away to college in the Boston area, and I've basically been in the Boston area ever since. As many of you know, was working down here for the past 4.5 years, and I was one of those people who commuted from Boston every week to come down here to work, and I'm now back in Boston. And part of the reason why I couldn't move here was that I didn't feel that there was a sustainable workforce for someone like me here in Westchester. And so I am the poster child for these academic collaborations and these industry collaborations to build a biotech. Whoops, I touched your slides. What do I need to do? Sorry. Don't worry about it. Okay, I won't worry about it. Somebody will come and help me. To really build this kind of a community here where we can bring together in the same room representatives from government, representatives from education, representatives from all of the biotech community that is growing up around us, and not just here in Westchester, but in the surrounding world. And I really do mean world, as you've heard, Westchester Biotech Project takes on its EU and Asia and Australia and other types of components. We need to build this. We need this here. We are on the precipice of something that is just amazing. And building the certificate program in collaboration with representatives from all the colleges and now reaching out into our industry partners has really started to foment excitement and potential in recognizing that this is something that can happen here. We can build it here. And nothing will make me happier personally than to see this happen. And I've been putting in my time, my talent, whatever I can bring to this. And I encourage all of you sitting here and those of you that are watching the live stream to volunteer, to step up. We can use your talent. We can benefit from it. Any little bit, any nugget of information you can share about how we can better serve and build this community can only help make us all better, more efficient, and more productive. And so in that spirit, I really welcome you to think about how we can cross our boundaries, erode those barriers that others have spoken about, break down, I don't want to say walls. Walls has become too politically charged, but break down the silos that impede our ability to collaborate and really think about how we can do that. The last nugget that I will leave you, I want to echo the thought from the White Plains superintendent that I think Michael was speaking about earlier. While most of the focus at this point has really been on the higher education aspects of the community colleges and the four-year colleges and the major research institutions as well, we really do need to think about how we build that talent pipeline in the pre-college world, the K-12 space. And one of the other areas that I think as a community we need to think about is how we engage our young people, how we make them aware of opportunities in the biomedical sciences and engineering and health sciences. Students in the K-12 world know the professions with which they've had contact. They don't realize the myriad opportunities that are available for research, for design, engineering, in support of the life sciences industry. And it's incumbent upon all of us, as part of our stepping up motion, if you will, to really make the young people with whom we have contact understand that there is a place for them within our local life sciences community and encourage them to become part of it. So I want to thank Michael and Joanne for giving me this tremendous opportunity to really think about these issues. It gives me pleasure to see this coming to be something now. It really is an exciting time, and I hope that you'll step up and join us. Thank you.
Professor Phillips, would you come to the stage, please? So I could go on and on about Glenetta Phillips, which I kind of did a bit earlier. But I asked Dr. Bloom to come and say a few words today. We also want to give you a Founders Award.
So sweet.
Well, when this beautiful lady came to our program last year and we started to do this, things started to happen. So I really want to thank you. We're going to let Dr. Bloom speak, and then we'd like to hear from you.
So thank you, and welcome to Westchester Community College. My name is Ron Bloom. I'm the Dean of Health Careers, Technology, and Applied Learning. Please make no mistake, including Westchester Community College as a partner in this endeavor is central to the mission of economic and regional workforce development. According to the Office of Institutional Effectiveness, WCC serves one of the most diverse and economically disadvantaged populations in the State University of New York system. It is SUNY's fourth largest and most diverse community college, and the system's first Hispanic institution. 2/3 of our students are from traditionally underrepresented groups, and over 50% are first generation to college. The college's affordable tuition makes access to education and participation in workforce a reality. As we discuss emerging models for growing life science companies, we must be inclusive of low-income students by creating opportunities for job shadowing, mentorships, and internships that onboard talent. Building the regional biotech cluster will require new collaborations and intentional planning. I thank the Westchester Biotech cluster for seating Westchester Community College at the table and for fostering an important partnership. So at this time, I've been asked to introduce Glenetta Phillips to present a special recognition to her for her work in establishing a partnership with WCC and the Westchester Biotech Project. Glenetta is a program specialist for the WCC Center for Applied Learning and Career Education. She participates in the center's efforts to enhance civic engagement, create internship opportunities, and promote experiential education. Ms. Phillips is a bright light and a welcoming presence. She has student success at the center of all she does, and I'm pleased to acknowledge her commitment and determination in establishing the WCC Center for Applied Learning and Career Education. Thank you.
Very shocking. I can say that. You got me real good. I didn't really plan this, but I can say thank you so very much for being here today and taking the time out to come and talk and hear what we have to say about this new program. I am Glenetta Phillips, and I do work with our students daily. Myself and Jelaine Williams, we work with our students in a very big, dynamic way of making sure that we make sure employability is on their outcome. A lot of our students come in and they want to know their direction, and that's what we do for them. I can say it is extraordinary and a great privilege to be an instrumental aspect of these endeavors at Westchester Community College. And I also want to echo the Dr. Miles, our president here, when she says building and leveraging rich partnerships for our opportunities, for our students is exactly why we're here. And we try to explain that to our students, and we would love for the explanation to go to our faculty and to everyone that's in charge of making those judgment calls for that to take place. Also, I just have one more thing. We want to continue to leverage our health studies, our biology sciences, environmental sustainability, pollution pathways for the goals of our students. And I also want to say that I really, truly believe in the Westchester certificate that we are aligning ourselves to become a part of.